That is home. Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. I said you all are going to teach me a thing or two about music here.
I've never heard that song in my life. I'm sorry. It sounded a little like Lou Reed to me.
All right,
I would have got that wrong.
40 minutes past the hour here. His father was governor, and he was born and raised there. But Michigan is feeling like anything but home for Mitt Romney.
Primaries in 2 weeks, folks. You think he's got a lock on this one, but there's a bit of stress probably flying through the Romney camp, and the super PAC is digging in, the one that supports him, throwing an additional $500,000 plus into Michigan for ads there, and here's why. The latest American Research Group poll shows this. Romney is trailing Santorum in Michigan 33 to 27. If you do the math, that's about 6 points. And if you look teeny weeny print there suggests the margin of error is just 4 points. So, yeah. He's losing officially. Live in Washington to talk about this is Democratic strategist MariaCardona. Also, David Drucker joins us live from, he's from Roll Call. He's a political reporter with Roll Call. And here in New York, Gretchen Hamel is the executive director of Public Notice. Guys, I could not believe it when I saw that, when I saw those numbers. I was trying to figure out what it was. Was it the momentum from what happened in those last 3 states? It couldn't have been what happened in CPAC. So let me just ask you, Gretchen. What is at play with that latest poll number?
Well, you have to look back at the last election and what happened last time in the primary in Michigan. And you had Romney that won Michigan. He didn't win it because it was his home state. He won it because he was the conservative alternative to then John McCain. Now he's not the conservative alternative. He's the middle-of-the-road guy.
Conservative alternative, and even though he used this severely alternative phrase, I would have thought that would have harnessed all those conservatives right back up for him.
No,
but maybe,
unfortunately not.
Why not? Why not? Just finish that thought. Why didn't that severely conservative phrase work?
I think just because of the contrast that you're seeing play out in the primary right now. You had the contrast of Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum, which are more conservative than Mitt Romney.
Now we're hearing about the super PAC that supports Mitt Romney just funneling the dough into Michigan. I don't know whether this was pre-planned or whether they're in panic mode or what's happening, but at last, I think at last count we were at around $890,000 in ads that were being purchased for Michigan. But here's the weird thing, and I don't get this. David Drucker, maybe you can weigh in on it. I'm hearing that the ads, all the negative ads, are geared at Newt Gingrich. That doesn't seem to be the problem here. Newt doesn't seem to be the issue. Why are the ads focusing on him?
Yeah, I don't know. It is a little odd, but it's not surprising that super PACs are playing a role in the states that we're now headed into. You've got Michigan. It's going to be contested. They played a huge role in the states that came before. Santorum has a super PAC. Romney has a super PAC. Newt had a super PAC that's no longer has its main funder. But, you know, I think we've got
Sheldon
2 weeks
Adelson
here.
out? Did you just make news there? Did I miss something?
I didn't make, no, I'd love to take credit, but this has been reported. Sheldon Adelson, at least for now, has stopped writing checks. But look, I think what you're going to see in Michigan is a very closely contested race. There's 2 weeks to go. I think both the Romney and Santorum campaigns are going to be spending money on ads there. You're going to see a lot of campaigning. And as we've seen with every primary contest so far, the winner coming out of Election Day has had a lot of momentum in the polls, both in the states to come and nationally. The polling we're seeing now took place last week before CPAC in Maine, whether or not that makes a difference. And we're going to have 2 elections on the 28th, both Arizona and Michigan.
I think
and you could split the difference, and you could head into Super Tuesday, March 6th, really being, I guess, the next big decider in the race.
Okay. All right. I always like when someone invokes the old word decider. It's one of my favorite things from our last administration. Let me move on to you, MariaCardona, and that is on this issue, the National Review, a conservative publication calling for Newt to drop out. And here's the actual wording, at least part of it. When he led Santorum in the polls, he urged the Pennsylvanian to leave the race. On his own arguments, the proper course for him now is to endorse Santorum and to exit. Maria, you've been watching this as closely as the rest of us. How fair is it to say that when this has been the craziest race in terms of the roller coaster we've all been on? I mean, Newt was out, down and out. The staff was jumping ship. Then he was back on top. Now he's down and out a little. Is it fair to say jump ship because you're just down and out again?
Well, what we've seen about Newt Gingrich is that he's the Lazarus of politics. We keep seeing him rise again. Thank you. But unfortunately, words do come back to bite you sometimes, and it's tough medicine when folks use your own words, your own conservative groups that you think that you're carrying the banner for them, use your own words against you. But look, this is what Mitt Romney, I think, is looking to do, to make sure that Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum remain in the race, because as long as both do, they split that conservative vote, which Mitt Romney will never be able to get until he supposedly becomes the nominee, and it will continue to split that vote and give him the advantage. And I think in terms of Michigan, in terms of what has happened to Romney, when he makes comments like making sure that he is against the auto bailout and being on the side of letting the auto industry go bankrupt in Michigan, those kinds of comments do not resonate with the blue-collar workers who are there now.
You know what? I got to hand it down, but not before I fight you on that one, because he kind of said everybody in the mortgage crisis should just fail. And in Florida, the worst place in the planet right now for mortgage crises and people underwater, he won. He won that state, even though he told everybody they just needed to fail.
That's exactly right. But look at what's happening in Michigan, and this is something that Santorum and Newt Gingrich can use against him.
All right, I got to leave it there, folks. MariaCardona, David Drucker, Gretchen Hamel, thank you. Thank you to all three of you. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.
It is 46 minutes past the hour.